specially adapted version by Marjorie P. Katz. Madness, rage, and terror. Hear the pounding of a dead man's heart. Listen to someone's chilling cries as he is buried alive. See the phantom figure rise from the dead. Enter the chilling, eerie world created by America's first great writer of mystery and suspense, Edgar Allan Poe. The Gold Bug, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Telltale Heart, and The Cask of Amontillado. Four of Poe's most well-known tales, all here in one easy read, impossible to forget collection. And the cover is illustrated by Joseph Morales. So the inside says that this book belongs to Kildonan Elementary, and I googled it because I was like, what is that school? I never heard of it. And it turns out that I guess this copy of this book belonged to a school about 45 minutes away from me in a place called Armenia, New York. But they must have not wanted it, and then I found it about to get thrown away, and I said, oh no, I will save that book because I thought that it would be a good book to read. It's, I guess, like, mystery and terror is maybe not like super relaxing, but I don't know, I watch like true crime ASMR and stuff like that, so I don't think like the topic always needs to be 100% like relaxing, and I think being read to is really relaxing. I'm just gonna grab something. I raised my mic up a little bit, so hopefully this is a good position for all of us. Okay. So there's the name of the elementary school, Kildonan. What if one of you went there? That'd be awesome. It's pretty far away. I don't know how it ended up in my hands, but oh well, the universe wanted me to have it. I was like, that book is not getting thrown away. Like, I don't think books, I don't know, I would not throw away a book. It was edited by Malvina G. Vogel. And so there's 4 stories in this book. It's a collection. So I am going to make this a 4-part series. We'll read one. Oh, actually, I'm gonna make it a 5-part series. We will read one of these a day, except for the Gold Bug is like 100 pages, so we'll split it into 2 parts. Yeah. About the author. A strange world of fantasy is found in the poems and stories of Edgar Allan Poe. This eerie, imaginary world was a necessary escape for Poe, for his real life was truly miserable. He was born to poor parents in 1809 in Boston, Massachusetts, and was an orphan before he was 3. He was taken by his godfather, John Allen, a wealthy Virginian who gave Poe a fine education in England and America. Then a serious quarrel with his foster father estranged him from his family when he was still in his teens. From then on, poverty and illness marked Poe's short life. By the age short story won $50 in a newspaper contest. His reputation grew, but his writing earned little money. He lived at the time with his aunt, Maria Clem, a poor widow, and in 1835 he married her 13-year-old daughter, Virginia. He and Virginia were often ill. His misfortunes preyed upon him, and he drank heavily. Still, his years were busy, not only as a writer, but as an editor and a critic as well. His ingenious poems and intriguing short stories made him an unforgettable figure in American literature. His poem, The Raven, was on the lips of the entire nation after it appeared in early 1845. His horror stories still send a tickle through a reader's body today, and his detective stories set a pattern which many other writers would follow. After Poe's wife died in 1847, Poe had what we would now call a nervous breakdown. He died in Baltimore, Maryland in 1849, just 40 years old. The Telltale Heart. This will be the first story I read from the book, and the one that I will be reading in this video. The Telltale Heart. Mad, that's what they call me. It's true, I am nervous, very dreadfully nervous. But why do they say I am mad? That fever I had last year, it just sharpened my senses, not destroyed them. Above all, my sense of hearing became the sharpest of all my senses. I heard things in heaven and on earth. I even heard things in hell. How then am I mad? Listen, you will see how calmly I can tell you the whole story. Here's a picture, and it says, they call me mad. It is impossible to say how the idea first came to me, but once it entered my brain, it haunted me day and night. There is really no reason for the deed I had in my mind. A murder. I loved the old man. I rented lodgings in his home. He never wronged me. He had never insulted me. Yes, he had gold, but I had no desire for it. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was his eye that disturbed me. You see, one of his eyes was normal, but the other resembled the eye of a vulture. It was pale blue with a film over it. It made my blood run cold. And so, very gradually, after much thought, I made up my mind. I would kill the old man and be rid of the eye pressed in my head. I moved slowly, very, very slowly, so that I would not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head far enough so I could see him in the doorway as he lay upon his bed. Would a madman have been so careful? Then, when my head was well into the room, I opened the lantern cautiously. I opened it so cautiously that only a single thin light of a single thin ray of light fell upon the vulture eye. Just a single ray. And this I did for 7 long nights. Every night, just at midnight, but every night I found the eye closed. So it was impossible for me to do my work. He's looking in. It says, I opened the lantern cautiously. For you see, it was not the old man who angered me, but his evil eye. And every morning, for 7 mornings, when the day broke, I went boldly into the room and spoke to him. I called him by name in a hearty voice to see how he had spent the night. So you see, he would have been a very suspicious old man indeed if he had imagined every night, just at 12, I had looked upon him while he slept. On the 8th night, I was even more cautious than usual in opening the door. The minute hand of a watch moves more quickly than my hand did. Not until that night did I feel the extent of my own power. To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he did not even dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I could scarcely contain my feeling of triumph. I laughed to myself at the idea. Perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly, as if something startled him. It says, a hearty good morning. Now, you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was completely black, in total darkness, for he always kept the shutters closed out of fear of robbers. I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, so I kept pushing it slowly, steadily inwards. Finally, I had my head in. I was just about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening. The old man sprang up in bed. "Who's there?" he cried out. I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle. Yet in all the time I did not hear him lie down. He was sitting up in the bed listening, just as I had been doing night after night, listening to the death watches in the wall, those tiny beetles who beat their heads against the woodwork and make ticking noises. The ticking noises are said to predict death. How right the predictions were this time. Soon I heard a slight groan. I could tell it was not a groan of pain or relief. Here he is. It says, my slips on the lantern. Oh no, I knew. It was the groan of mortal terror. It was the low, muffled sound from the very bottom of a man's soul. I knew the sound well. Many at night, just at midnight, when the world slept, my very same groan had come up from within my soul, deepening the terrors that I felt. I say I knew that sound well. I knew what the old man was feeling, and I pitied him, although I laughed again to myself. I knew that he had been sitting there awake ever since the first slight noise when he had sat up in the bed. His fears had been growing upon him ever since. He must have not been trying to imagine them away, but he must have been trying to imagine them away, but he could not. He must have been saying to myself, it was nothing but the wind in the chimney, or it is a mouse crossing the floor. It is merely a cricket which has made a single chirp. Yes, he was trying to reassure himself with these comforting ideas, but they were all in vain. And here he is, the poor old man, feeling mortal terror. Mortal terror. Because death, with his what? Okay. All in vain. Because death, with his black shadow before him, was approaching. And it was in the shadow of death that caused the old man to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the pressure of my head within the room. I waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, so I decided to open one of the slits in the lantern, just a little. You cannot imagine how silently, how stealthily I opened a single dim ray of light and came out of the opening and fell upon his eye, his vulture eye. The eye was open, wide, wide open. I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it distinctly, all a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it. It chilled the very marrow in my bones. I could see nothing else of the old man's face or body, because I had directed the lantern's ray precisely upon the vulture eye. The vulture eye was open. I have said before that what people mistake for madness is really the exceptional sharpness of my senses. Hearing was at its sharpest. There came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound. A sound that might come from a watch when it's wrapped in cotton. I knew that sound well too. It was the beating of the old man's so cute, but sorry if you can hear them. They're not really barking though. Her dogs are named after Game of Thrones. Anyways, let's go back. Okay. I've said before that I am nervous, so I am. Yet, for so sorry, this story is intense. So, a little bit of a comic relief. I have said before that I am nervous. So I am. Yet, for some minutes longer, I stood quite still, but the beating grew louder, louder. I thought the old man's heart would surely burst, and now a new terror seized me. Would the sound grow so loud to be heard by the neighbor? Without delaying another moment, I made my decision. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw all the slits of the lantern. I leaped into the room. He shrieked once, only once. In an instant, I pulled him to the floor and dragged the heavy mattress over him. Then I smiled joyously, for the deed was done. But for many minutes, the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not bother me. I knew it would not be heard through the walls. Finally, the beating stopped. The old man was dead. I moved the mattress away and examined the corpse. Yes, he was dead. Stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there for many minutes. There was no beat. The deed is done. He was certainly stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. If you are still thinking that I am mad, you will not think so anymore. Not when I describe the wise precautions I took to conceal the body. I pried up 3 planks from the floor of the room and placed the corpse under the boards. In the space between the floor and the lower story of the house, then I replaced the floor planks carefully so that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. I put the mattress back on the bed and I made it up the bed to appear as no one had slept in it. The night was nearly over and I worked hastily but in silence. By the time I was done, it was 4 o'clock, but it still was as dark as midnight. As the church bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking on the street door. With a light heart, I went down to open it, for what had I now to fear? It says, replacing the floor planks carefully. Three men stood there. They introduced themselves with great politeness as police officers. A shriek was heard by a neighbor during the night, one of them explained. This neighbor suspected foul play and had come to the police office. We were sent to search the building. I smiled at them, for what had I to fear? Come in, I welcomed the officers. The shriek? Oh dear, I'm sorry anyone was disturbed. That was myself, you see, a nightmare. All right now. Thus talking, I led my visitors through the house. The old man, away, you know, gone to rest in the country for a few days, but come see for yourselves. I took my visitors all over the house. I told them to search, well. Finally, I led them to his room. I showed them his treasures, secure and undisturbed. There are the policemen coming to the door. Full of confidence, I brought chairs into the room and told the officers to rest here after their labor. I myself was feeling so bold because of my perfect triumph that I placed my own seat upon the spot, the very spot on the floor under which rested the old man's corpse. But after a while, I began to wish they would go. My head ached. I thought I heard a ringing noise in my ears. Still they sat and chatted. The ringing in my ears continued and became more distinct. To get rid of the ringing, I talked more freely, but the ringing continued and got louder and louder, until at last I realized the noise was not in my ears. What could I do? I grew very pale, but I talked even more freely in a louder voice. Here they are, chatting of familiar things. Yet the sound increased. It was a low, dull, quick sound. It was a low, dull, quick sound. A sound that might come from a watch wrapped in cotton. I gasped for breath, and yet it seemed that the officers heard nothing. I talked more quickly, more loudly, but the noise increased steadily. I stood up and argued about an unimportant matter, argued in a high-pitched voice with violent gestures. But the noise steadily increased. Why wouldn't the officers leave? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, pretending to be excited with a fury by an unimportant matter that we had been discussing, but the noise steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I raged, I swore. I picked up a chair upon which I had been sitting and swung it about so that it grated the floorboards, but the noise of the chair grating upon the floorboards was drowned out by the other noise as it continually increased. It grew louder, louder, louder. Here, arguing about an unimportant matter. And still the men chatted pleasantly, and still the men smiled. Was it possible they heard nothing? Almighty God, no, no. They heard, they suspected, they knew. They were making a mockery of the horror. That is what I thought at the time, and that is what I think today. But oh, my agony, everything would be better than this agony. Anything would be easier to bear than their mockery. I couldn't stand their mocking smiles any longer. I felt that I had to scream or die, and now the noise came again. Listen, louder, louder. Villains! I shrieked at the police officers. Do not pretend to me any longer. Do not mock me any more. I admit everything. Tear up the planks. Here is the beating of his hideous heart. The end. Good night, you guys. Make sure to subscribe. We are 100 subscribers away from 4,000 subscribers. And if we want to get 4,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do a live on the Friday, and it will be real fun. It will be live and drinking alcohol, probably, get lit with Emily Perks. So come do that.